Welcome back. Well, we all hear about the Saharan dust moving across the Atlantic this time of year, but what does that actually mean for us? And do we actually see any sort of impact? So for more on this, let's welcome in meteorologist Justin Ballard. And I feel like this is such a cool phenomenon that we see each year. This dust travels a long distance to get here.
Thousands of miles across the entire Atlantic Ocean.
Wild.
Now, this is something that's happened forever, right? It's nothing new. We have this happen every late spring into the summer months. And, you know, you can actually see this on satellite. And one way of seeing it, and really one way of seeing kind of the origin of that is by using satellite.
Okay, and we have satellite. Let's go ahead and pull it up. I mean, and you can actually, we have a pretty good dust plume right now over Florida.
We do, yes. So this is infrared satellite. Admittedly, not the best sort of way to view dust in this way, but I'm really wanting to show you how this dust kind of originates. Obviously, you know this probably, Rachel, but basically what happens is you get these large thunderstorm complexes, and we don't really have necessarily the biggest ones right now over North Africa, but these thunderstorm complexes send out rain-cooled air. That rain-cooled air kind of smacks into the ground and lifts up the dust. So I know, you know, in the winter months during the, late January, February, we had some pretty significant dust storms kind of roll through Texas. A similar sort of concept that picks up all of that dust from sub-Saharan Africa and lofts it into the air.
And it's so wild how far this travels, really, to land here. I had a lot of people be like, what do you mean? It can't go that far. But yes, it is pretty wild. So do we have to worry about having any sort of impacts here if it moves in?
We certainly do. And aside from, you know, health impacts, which we'll talk about here right now, Saharan dust can cause symptoms sort of similar to allergies. Now, the key word here is in some people. Not everyone is included in this. Vulnerable groups, though, do include those with chronic respiratory illnesses. If you've got asthma, you know, as well, people with pulmonary problems may also notice some allergy-like symptoms. I'm talking itchy eyes, kind of watery eyes, some coughing, sneezing, that sort of thing, as well the elderly and young children. So those vulnerable groups really can be impacted the most. But that doesn't necessarily mean this round will be, you know, intense or particularly impactful for people's health. I think actually it's coming in a little weaker than what we thought even earlier this week.
Yes, it does look like the concentrations are a bit lower, but what's cool, I feel like, is that you can see it a little bit if you're looking for it. Some days, if we have a big plume, you can definitely see that it's very hazy, but you can even see a little haze outside.
It can even take off the temperature a smidge.
Which is nice.
If we're lucky enough, it can keep it, you know, 90 as opposed to 92 or 93, whatever. But yeah, I've actually got some of our cameras kind of around Southeast Texas, kind of showing off current conditions. Now, we don't have any haze out there yet. What, if anything, we might be seeing is maybe a little bit of smoke high up from wildfires in Canada, but for the most part, what we've got, plenty of cumulus clouds, and you know, that's about it. But this view by Friday could look very different if we're able to kind of get rid of the cloud cover that we've got out there right now and really see some of that kind of opaque, milky look to the sky.
And I feel like that's the biggest difference. When you look at the sky, it just doesn't look quite as blue. So speaking of this, you know, we've been talking about the Saharan dust rolling in. What's our latest forecast with it?
Right now, it looks like our main kind of plume of Saharan dust will come in Friday into Saturday. We may see some tomorrow, but it will be on the much kind of lighter variety. Higher concentrations Friday into Saturday. You see that here as we kind of click forward in time at noon and on Saturday. You may look up and go, something's going on. What is it? It's Saharan dust. And they also help kind of produce vibrant sunsets. So get your camera ready, get your Instagram ready, all that scattering. I forget what kind of scattering, but it's a certain kind of scattering that you learn about when you're in meteorology school. So very, very exciting, as long as you're able to not, you know, suffer sort of health consequences from it.
And so obviously we've been talking about the tropics. What's the next area that we're going to have to watch for tropical development? Well,
because of our, you know, Saharan dust plume that we're tracking, we don't have to worry about too much development close to home. This is the development over the next, you see, through June 10th. And there may be some development with that Central American gyre, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point on weather now over the next couple of weeks. You see low in development, though, between now and June 17th, which is pretty typical. You don't necessarily expect big development this early in the season.
Yeah, I think at this point, it seems like the Eastern Pacific definitely being the most active. Could have Barbara by the end of this week or even into next week.
We'll be keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on it. Thank you so much, Justin, for breaking us down for all of that info on the Saharan dust today.